Brother Examiner, these men who have accepted the fellowship we offer now present themselves for admission into our brotherhood. They are ready to receive instruction in solemn and irrevocable pledges which they are about to take.
It is fitting that you receive instruction in these pledges, so laden with responsibility and fertile in opportunity. They bring to you lifelong relations of friendship and of brotherhood, with duties you will not easily avoid, and with privileges you can receive on no other terms. This fraternity will serve as your college home. Those who dwell here will be your brothers, your counselors, and your protectors. Their influence will help to mold your character and your future. You rightly ask much of a brotherhood to which you give yourselves without impediment or reserve. They rightly ask of you not to surrender yourselves without full realization of the meaning and finality of the pledges you are to take. Before proceeding to such instruction, however, it will be necessary to make preliminary declarations.
After I say this, y'all say I do. Do you on your honor declare that you are members of no college fraternity and are pledged to none but this? If so, answer I do.
I do.
Do you all in your honor declare that you entertain no sentiment toward any member of this chapter that would prevent you from maintaining cordial brotherly relations with them? If so, answer I do.
I do.
Of those who would enter our fraternity, we ask two things: that they know our ideals, and that they pledge themselves to help us realize those ideals. We have instructed you in the history and the principles of our brotherhood. We have told of you of the early secret fraternities, of the evil that attended their control of student affairs, and of the sentiment hostile to themselves, which they bred. We've explained the origin of the anti-secret societies at Williams, Union, Hamilton, and Amherst, and of the correlation between them, which, in 1847, marked the vigorous advance of Delta Upsilon. As time passed, the character of the secret societies so altered that hostility towards them decreased. Delta Upsilon recognized this happier period by adopting the principle of non-secrecy in place of anti-secrecy. This modification of our ancient attitude must not be misunderstood. It meant no less hatred of evil practices in secret societies. It served to acknowledge the disappearance of those practices and sprang from a logical devotion to our basic principle taught in the motto of our fraternity: Dikaio Patheki, justice, our foundation. Our first exercise is justice. The protest against the secret societies served its purpose and is no longer necessary, but the battles of justice are infinite, and her champions are ever needed to serve her cause both in the college and in the world beyond. To forward the ends of enlightened equity demands knowledge and sympathy, the broad mind and the large heart. It is man's work, to be done best by those who have enjoyed the twofold education of intellect and of character. We have therefore formed ourselves into a fraternity in order to advance justice, promote friendship, develop character, maintain and diffuse liberal culture, and to promote intellectual, moral, and social improvement. We have expounded to you our ideals, because we believe to you be your ideals also. We bring to you your initiation, wherein you must pledge your allegiance to Delta Upsilon. You must promise to be faithful in every relation of brotherhood, and you must solemnly declare, before many witnesses, your determination to stand for the principles of our fraternity. And you must reflect that the spoken pledge is without any other purpose in life that exemplifies your words. Therefore, consider carefully that you may approach not unwisely to your initiation. The vows, once taken, are irrevocable. If you are not in thorough sympathy with our ideals, if you are at all uncertain in your desire to become a member of this fraternity, you have now a last opportunity to declare yourself. As a manifestation of your willingness to accept the pledges required of members of this fraternity, you will now inscribe your name within this roll book, containing those promises, which you are soon to make in the presence of our brotherhood.
Luke Aaron. Peter Armstrong. John Brookover. William Byers. Greg Catania. Bill Clements. Nick Velasco. DJ Venkel. Danny French. Jack Gelden. Johnny Greco. Anthony Hill. Harry Hill. Jason Hauk. Ryan Jaroszewski. Kenny Kelly. Porter Kohler. Michael Cosman. Matt Lammers. Taylor Lansdale. George Lewis. Isaac Morris. Jake Monge. Cameron Myers. Sam Orther. Charlie Brulis. Ronnie Petrie. Steve Ryder. Max Rapolo. Jacob Richardson. Richie Rodenberg. Jake Rundle. Dave Skilling.
As it is our duty to watch over the welfare of our fraternity, that it may continue in vigorous life, it behooves us from time to time to add to our numbers such men as will most honor our brotherhood. Upon these who stand before us, choice has fallen. We are now assembled to receive the pledges of their devotion, and to seal their acceptance into our brotherhood, not only to those who are received and to us who receive them, but also to all who may come within the influence of this fraternity. These pledges and this initiation are momentous. Since our words and deeds have emerged from a common heritage of acceptance and belief in a supreme being, it is essential and a basic part of our tradition to turn to God in prayer, as did our founding brothers.
Let us pray. God of our fathers and our God, who inspired the formation of Delta Upsilon Fraternity with justice as its sure foundation, may we temper the rigor of our present world with a deepened appreciation of the beauty and strength of friendship. May we encourage one another and in common concern be ever faithful to the highest and best we know. Together enable us to live bravely amid the discouragements of life, seek to acquit ourselves like men, and continue to believe in the best, even in the face of failure. May we never use our brotherhood as a means to seek selfish ends and keep us free from cynicism. May no unworthy thoughts or deeds cloud our skies. May our actions never make rough the road for others who walk with us or who would follow. May we never fail to keep faith with those who place their trust in us. Let us renew the vows once made and now shared with these new brothers. Grant us the strength to serve and the moral courage to live more nobly, and strive to achieve the maturity of independent minds. May no pettiness or pride of the exclusiveness ever keep us from rendering to Delta Upsilon the vision of the highest and noblest purposes, as they may have emerged from justice, our sure foundation. In all this, we ask thy blessing in the knowledge that the highest ideas and noblest thoughts come from thee. Amen.
Brothers in Delta Upsilon, you've unanimously elected these men to membership in our fraternity. Before proceeding with their initiation, however, it is fitting that we should examine once more our own hearts. In a brotherhood such as ours, a close and lasting friendship must unite all its members, creating such an imminent and permanent influence that shall mold them to a rounded type of manhood. Our past is secure, our future depends upon our vigilance. We must jealously guard against any man who may disturb the harmony of our fraternal life, against any whose presence may lower our standards or cloud our ideals. Therefore will the members of our chapter rise. Not you all, you guys. I now challenge each of you in the name of Delta Upsilon. Does any brother know any reason why any of these candidates should not be received into the fellowship of our fraternity? Your silence makes it your duty to remove from your minds all prejudice or feelings which might hinder the discharge of any brotherly obligation. I therefore charge you to so rule your thought and conduct that, in all of your future relations with these men, nothing should mar the trust and brotherly affection which should ever exist between you. Please be seated. Now as to you who would join our brotherhood, this hour, to all of us impressive, to you gentlemen, should be solemn, especially solemn. We initiate you into no meaningless secrets, but into a brotherhood founded upon a principle, which it is our duty to exemplify in our lives. Dekai Upatheki, justice our foundation. The relationship of brotherhood is a sacred one. Its ties are noble, for it has been divinely established by the great exemplar as the proper bearing of man towards man. It is therefore the ideal of human relationship, an ideal that we seek to realize in our fraternal life, thereby learning from our fraternity the highest lessons of human duty and opportunity. In this brotherhood, justice is our guiding principle, and as justice is but truth in action, it is in our deeds that testify our loyalty to the ideals of our fraternity and our worthiness to conserve the heritage handed down to us by the past generations of Delta Upsilon. In 3 centuries now, time has endorsed the enduring value of our principles. In chapters across the United States and Canada, in loyal pursuit of our ideals, we have conserved our heritage and have passed along to our ever-increasing brotherhood the lessons we strive to teach. In uprightness, in nobility, in consideration of others, in fair dealing with them, in constant endeavor to promote truth, and equity in every relation in which we may be cast. In such ways do the lessons of our fraternity bear the richest fruit. Into such a brotherhood we offer you the opportunity to enter. But in entering you must pledge undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon and to his ideals. It is therefore well that we should here pause to consider those ideals more fully. Brothers and guests, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker who will deliver the charge to the candidates. Fellow brothers and honored guests, I'm proud to introduce Brother Chip Cade, Miami, 1985.
I'll keep it brief, guys. So in a few minutes you're going to give an oath, and after you get your hats, there's going to be a handshake. And that's all this is. It's an oath and a handshake. It's all it's ever required. It's all they gave when I was here. And it may be the first oath any of you have ever given, but I encourage you to say it with some meaning. So the first thing I'd like to remind you of is, are you convinced now that we're non-secret? Because right up until this very moment, and I was initiated in that room, I was convinced that there had to be some kind of secret. There had to be something going on, something they weren't telling me. Nope, this is it. We're open, we're non-secret. We bring you out here, we swear you in public, guests are welcome. And the reason I thought there had to be some secret is because I thought there had to be something more, and as it turned out, there wasn't. It was just an oath and a handshake. That was all it took. And it doesn't seem like a lot to build a brotherhood on, but as it turns out, it's more than enough. Brotherhood, particularly a brotherhood of belief as we are, begins with meeting and communication and continues with education and personal growth. tolerance, and both a willingness and an ability to listen, and the moral courage to speak and commit when you need to. Brothers don't always agree, as I'm sure any of you with siblings would recognize, but they're there for each other. They watch out for each other, they support each other, they push each other to be better friends, students, sons and boyfriends, and eventually husbands and fathers. From an old initiation manual, you are right to ask much of them as they will ask much of you. For 160 years now at Miami, that started with an oath and a handshake. Started for me this way in 1982, 41 years ago now. A slightly different ceremony, but the exact same oath and a handshake. My parents gave me the opportunity to go to Miami. Luck and a persistent roommate took me to Delta Upsilon. I was never going to rush. I knew nothing about fraternities. But then I took an oath, and my brothers took it from there. So I believe that my brothers made a difference in my life. I believe that I made a difference in my brother's lives. Look around you. The odds are very high. 40 to 50 years from now, you're still going to be friends with some of the people sitting here. I am. Talked to one of them on the way up. So, because we made a difference, you now have that opportunity to have your brothers be a difference in your life, and for you to be a difference in your brothers' lives. So, what I say to you is take advantage of it. Run with it. Study when it's time for study. Ask for help when you need it. Give it when you can. Enjoy it when it's time to party. But the bane of the alumni existence is clean up the house afterwards. What we expect out of you guys is not to have the same experience that we did. We expect you to have a good experience. We realize it's going to be somewhat different from our experience. Different things are important, different music, all kinds of different things. But when you come out the other end, you'll have been there for each other. So be proud now to be part of a tradition that's more than 150 years old and carry it forward. But the reason we have these ceremonies and the reason we remember the traditions is because it gives us words like this. This is from Brother Frank Clark of 94. May we encourage one another and in common concern be ever faithful to the highest and best we know. May we always seek to acquit ourselves as men and continue to believe in ourselves even in the face of failure. May our actions never make rough the road for others who walk with us or who would follow. May we never fail to keep faith with those who place their trust in us. Grant us the strength to serve and the moral courage to live more nobly and strive to achieve the maturity of independent minds. May our mutual regard increase as time shall heighten our appreciation of the noble sentiments which has made us brothers by choice. May justice, culture, and morality be the motives of our lives, and may the bonds forged today unite us forever in resolve to attain that goal of true manhood, aspiration towards which is the sign and seal of our fraternity. That's Brother Frank Clark, 1894. So we've been around a while. I'm glad to welcome you guys to carry the tradition forward. So welcome to the Brotherhood.
Thank you. I ask that the candidates please rise. Brother Master, I present to you these candidates present to be admitted to the fellowship in the Delta Upsilon fraternity. They have made the preliminary declarations and, having learned the nature of the pledges, are prepared to take them.
The pledges I now propose to you, you must take upon your word of honor to hold them sacred and inviolable forever. Each candidate will individually pronounce I in their full name, then in unison repeat after me. I, of my own free will and accord, in the presence of God and of those with these witnesses, do hereby solemnly declare that the principles of this fraternity, as they've been explained to me, accord entirely with my own views. And I solemnly promise that as a member of this fraternity, I will faithfully adhere to those principles, endeavoring in every way to perfect myself,
endeavoring in every way to perfect myself,
morally, intellectually, and socially,
morally, intellectually, and socially,
endeavoring also to act towards others,
and endeavoring also to act towards others,
according to that high standard of conduct
according to that high standard of conduct
required by the fraternity.
required by the fraternity.
I solemnly promise that I will be loyal
I solemnly promise that I will be loyal
to the Delta Upsilon fraternity
to the Delta Upsilon fraternity
and to this chapter,
and to this chapter,
abiding by their rules,
abiding by the rules,
discharging my obligations to them faithfully,
discharging my obligations to them faithfully,
and using all honorable means
using all honorable means
to promote their interests.
to promote their interests.
I solemnly promise that I will share with my brothers
I solemnly promise that I will share with my brothers
the duties of my chapter,
the duties of my chapter,
that I will uphold and encourage them
and I will uphold and encourage them
in all that is honorable and right,
in all that is honorable and right,
that I will ever extend to each brother
and I will ever extend to each brother
the right hand of sympathy,
the right hand of sympathy,
and that at all times and in all circumstances
and that at all times and in all circumstances
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments
which should ever exist between brothers.
which should ever exist between brothers.
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor,
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor,
without any equivocation,
without any equivocation,
mental reservation,
mental reservation,
or secret evasion of mine whatsoever.
or secret evasion of my whatsoever.
Brothers, we are all witnesses to these pledges. Do you, before God, in the presence of these witnesses, acknowledge this signature, that you have subscribed herein to the pledges now just repeated? If so, you'll answer to your name, I do.
Luke Ahern. I do. Kiera Armstrong. I do. John Brookover. I do. Craig Cantagna. I do. Will Clements. I do. Nick Velasco. I do. DJ Fensel.
I do.
Will Byers.
I do.
Danny French.
I do.
Jack Geldom.
I do.
Johnny Greco.
I do.
Anthony Heel.
I do.
Harry Hiddle.
I do.
Jason Hoot. Ryan Jarosecki.
I do.
Kenny Kelly.
I do.
Porter Kohler.
I do.
Michael Kozman.
I do.
Matt Lammers.
I do.
Taylor Lansdale.
I do.
George Lewis.
I do.
Jake Monge.
I do.
Isaac Morris.
I do.
Cam Myers.
I do.
Sam Orthover.
I do.
Charlie Peroulis.
I do.
Ronnie Petrie.
I do.
Steve Ryder.
I do.
Max Rapola.
I do.
Jacob Richardson.
I do.
Richie Rodenberg.
I do.
Jake Rundle. David Ciccone.
I do.
All right, one by one, you're going to come up here. Just start from that row. We'll receive your ribbon.
Luke Ahern. Kiera Armstrong. John Brookover. Will Byers. Craig Cantagna. Will Clements. Nick Velasco. DJ Fensel. Danny French. Jack Geldom. Johnny Greco. Anthony Heel. Harry Hiddle. Jason Hoot. Ryan Jarosecki. Kenny Kelly. Porter Kohler. Michael Kozman. Matt Lammers. Taylor Lansdale. George Lewis. Jake Monge. Isaac Morris. Sam Myers. Sam Orthenberg. Charlie Perulis. Ronnie Petrie. Steve Ryder. Max Rapola. Jacob Richardson. Richie Rodenberg. Jake Rundle. David Scone.
Receive and wear this badge in token of your membership into the Delta Upsilon fraternity. I extend you the right hand of fellowship. Initiates of Delta Upsilon, you this day received a distinction which is granted to few men, decoration with the insignia of our fraternity. It marks the confidence which we repose in you. May the ties which it symbolizes strengthen perpetually. May its possession instill in you the spirit of undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I now declare you members of the Delta Upsilon fraternity. I ask that all brothers in Delta Upsilon please stand. For as much as these men have now become your brothers, it is your part and duty to aid them in their struggle towards a larger life, to recall to their minds what solemn pledges they have just now taken before this company, to instruct, reprove, and admonish them with all the kindness according to the principles of our fraternity and the truth that is in you, and to share with them the benefits and duties of life together. You may be seated. Yeah, and as for you who have been newly received into our fraternal circle, it is your part and duty to bear in mind that you are now one of us in principle and purpose. You are to share with us the privileges and divide with us the responsibilities of faithful service in Delta Upsilon. May your zeal in its cause never flag. May your sympathy with its interest ever grow deeper. May our mutual regard increase as time shall heighten our appreciation of the noble sentiments which have made us one. May justice, culture, and morality be the motives of your lives, as they have been the motives of our union. May the bond forged today unite us forever in sturdy resolve to attain that goal of true manhood, aspiration towards which is the sign and seal of our fraternity. This concludes the rite of initiation. With great pride, I now present our newest brothers in Delta Upsilon.